Hi, my name is Jackie. I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when I was 8. I play hard because that's how I do everything. I always push myself to be the best that I can be. Type 1 diabetes does not stop me from doing the things that I like to do. Hello and welcome to Teen 1D, the podcast for teenagers and young adults living with type 1 diabetes. The podcast is not intended as a substitute for professional medicine advice or treatment. My guest for today's episode is my friend Hannah herself. Hi Hannah, welcome to the Teen 1D podcast. It's so nice to talk to you again.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Hannah Self. I am 19 years old and I've been living with diabetes for 11 years now. I had the privilege of meeting Jackie 2 years ago at Children's Congress, and I'm so excited to be back here today.
Cool. So where are you from so our audience can get an idea of that?
I am from Lake Wylie, South Carolina, and I am starting my sophomore year of college. I go to Clemson University.
So when you were first diagnosed, did you know anyone else with type 1?
No, I had no contacts with people with type 1 diabetes. I had no idea what the disease even was or anyone else who was living with diabetes.
Did you ever go to like a diabetes camp, or how did you meet people that had type 1?
Yeah, so as soon as I was diagnosed with diabetes, my family became very involved with JDRF, and they helped us build a really good support system of tons of families and other children with type 1 diabetes. So that was very beneficial to my family. And then I did get to attend several diabetes camps over the years where I met a ton of other diabetics who are still very close friends of mine. And that's how I met a ton of other kids with diabetes.
So besides Children's Congress, did you participate in any other JDRF events?
Yeah, definitely. Since I was diagnosed, my family has participated in the JDRF One Walk. We've done the Hope Gala, and recently, my senior year of high school, my mom and I challenged ourselves to do the JDRF Ride for a Cure, where we rode 100 miles on our bikes to raise money for diabetes and research.
Wow, that's really impressive. 100 miles. Wow.
Yeah, it was definitely challenging. We had to train really hard for it, but I'm so glad that we had the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic.
Yeah, it was
So, sorry.
definitely, no, you're good. It was a goal of ours for a really long time. And finally, my senior year, we got to do it. So it was really cool.
Yeah. So when you're managing your type 1, do you have like a pump? Are you on shots, or do you have a closed loop system?
Yeah, I do have the closed loop system. So I have the Tandem T Slim, and then I also have the DexCom G6. And so my pump is able to give me insulin when my blood sugar is high and is able to turn off the insulin when my blood sugar is low. So that's been really helpful, especially going into college.
Yeah, that definitely sounds nice. I know it's definitely my goal to have a system like that before I leave for college.
Yeah, it definitely makes me feel better and makes my parents feel better to know that if I was in a situation where diabetes became challenging, my pump would be able to help me out with that. So it's been really good.
So now that I know that you're in college, what are some of the things that you do to like keep busy now that it's summertime?
Oh my goodness. Well, let's see. It's definitely been a quieter summer compared to how busy I stay during the school year, but I've just been working this summer and I got to go on a really cool vacation a couple weeks ago. So that was really fun.
Cool. So what do you use to treat a low?
I normally just reach for whatever's close, but some of my favorites are juice and gummy snacks. I always like to keep some gummies in my car or in my purse.
This is going to sound like a bad question, and it's just like a variation of like a can you eat this question, which is generally annoying. Are there any types of food that you avoid because of how much it messes with your blood sugar?
Yeah, for sure. For the most part, I can eat anything and we try to make everything work. But the one thing that I discovered early on in my diagnosis that I just can't do is maple syrup.
Yes, I definitely have to use sugar-free syrup, but also for me, the thing that I really have to avoid is cereal of all things.
Really?
Yes, like
Right.
it completely throws my blood sugar out of spike.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, cereal is not the best for my blood sugar, but if there's one thing I just can't do, it is that maple syrup.
Yeah. So I know that you attend Clemson. How far is that from where you currently are?
It is just a little bit over 2 hours away from where I live.
What steps did you take to start managing your diabetes between high school and college?
Yeah, so I really started taking more control over my diabetes in the middle of the night, especially just being that I knew that when I lived far away from my parents, I would have to be the one doing middle of the night low blood sugars or slight changes or whatever the case may be. And so that was a really big change for me because my parents had been helping me out with a lot of those nighttime blood sugars, but I definitely had to start transitioning into taking on that responsibility myself.
Yeah. So now that you are in college, I know that the DexCom has a share function. Do you have anybody else on the share setting still, or is that just turned off now?
Yeah, so I do still have my parents on Dexcom Share just because it makes them feel better knowing that they have an eye on my blood sugar. And if for some reason I was unresponsive, they would be able to get in contact with someone and be able to tell them exactly what to do. And then I also have a couple friends on there. I have my boyfriend on there and he can see it just for that added protection, just in case something were to go wrong and I would need some help.
That's such a good idea just to have a group of people outside of your family on it too that you trust.
Yeah, I definitely wrestled with the idea of keeping my parents on Dexcom Share going to college because I really wanted that independence and I didn't need them all in my business about diabetes. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized that they just want me to be safe. And if it makes them feel better knowing that they can keep an eye on me every night when I'm 2 hours away, then it was okay with me keeping them on Share.
So, did you sign up for accommodations when you started filling out your classes in college?
Yes, and this is one of the biggest things that I recommend to every diabetic who's going into college because now that I have accommodations and the university understands my medical needs, I have so many privileges and just special things that I get to do. For example, I get priority registration when I sign up for my classes, which means I get to take any class with any professor at any time of day that I want to, and I have access to that registration before any other students do, and that's really nice. And then just to have those accommodations, whether I'm taking a test or just sitting in class and someone has a question, it's just nice to know that I have my plan in place for how I can handle medical situations when it comes to being in school.
So, what do you like best about being in college compared to high school?
Well, there's definitely just a lot more freedom and just independence, both with diabetes and without, just a lot more independence just to kind of, do things on my own and get to mature in some ways. So I definitely have loved being in college so far.
Yeah. So, what communities are you involved with your school?
So I'm in a sorority, which has been really cool, and I've gotten to meet a lot of really good friends through being in my sorority. And then I'm in an organization called Clemson Miracle, which helps the local children's hospital. And so that's been really fun getting to help out that organization. And then I'm also in a little group with some other type 1 diabetics that also go to Clemson. So that's really awesome just to have that support system in case I need anything when it comes to diabetes while I'm away at school.
Oh, that sounds super interesting.
Yeah, it's really cool. I was actually added to a group of about 25 students at Clemson that are living with type 1 diabetes as well. And it's just really nice to know that if I were to ever need something or if any of them ever need anything from me, that we would be there for each other and be able to help each other out.
Yeah, that's definitely important, just as an overall community thing. So, that's fantastic.
Yeah, definitely. That definitely makes me feel better about being so far away from home.
So, I know that you're only going to be a sophomore this year, but what are you looking forward to now that COVID has begun to slow down and that things are slowly returning to normal?
Oh, yeah, for sure. So I am just so excited to get to experience a year of college with less COVID restrictions. I'm excited for the big Clemson football games that we have and tailgating and all these, sorority experiences that I didn't get to have last year and just everything's starting to open back up again. And it's really exciting.
Yeah. So, what are you majoring in right now?
So I'm majoring in communication and then I'm minoring in nonprofit leadership. I really want to do something in that nonprofit realm, hopefully something related to diabetes as well. I would love to just give back to the community that has given so much to me, and I would love to just make a career out of it.
Do you have any advice for people looking at colleges right now?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I would just say, just follow your heart and really just go along for the process. I know like choosing a college and going to college is just a crazy ride and it's a very involved process. And I definitely am nowhere near where I thought I would end up when I started the whole college process, but I just couldn't be happier with where I am. So definitely just hang in for the ride and you'll end up where you need to be. And it's a really cool process.
Okay, so we're coming towards the end of our questions in general right now. What advice would you have to give those with type 1 diabetes right now? And the other one is, what TV show are you currently watching right now?
Okay, well, let's see. The TV show I'm currently watching, I have to say, I'm watching The Bachelorette, which I know is, a little silly, but that's definitely what I'm binging right now. And then advice for type 1 diabetics, I would just say the best thing that I did when I got diagnosed was just to get involved and find a community, whether that's through, an organization like JDRF or through a diabetes summer camp or just a support group. I would just say when diabetes gets tough, I just lean on my diabetic friends for support, and they truly understand what it's like nobody else does. So that has helped me the most over the past 11 years. And I think my family as well, just to have a support system and a network of amazing people that understand what diabetes is like and how hard it can be, and we can just support each other, and that's been really great.
Okay, thank you so much for being on here, Hannah.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, that's all for today. If you have any suggestions for future topics or guests, or just want to say hi, don't hesitate to reach out. You can email me at teen.teen1d@gmail.com or DM me on Instagram at teen1dpodcast. And don't forget to like, subscribe, rate, and review, as it does really help me out. Thank you so much for listening, and don't forget to tune into next week's episode. Have a great week.